So, it's the end of another year, and with that comes reflection upon that year. And 2017 was definitely an eventful year globally. But what happened in anime? Well, a lot actually, and honestly, I don't want to spend the next few hours talking about every single anime from the past year. And I don't think you want to hear that. So instead, I decided to shorten it down to 10 words or less to describe each anime from 2017. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to give a letter grade to each anime, and that letter will coincide with the order on screen from great to complete trash. Very simple system, just like any grading system you have seen in school. And of course, these are my opinions, not yours, so everything here you can just take with a mountain of salt. Now that's out of the way, here is every 2017 anime reviewed in 10 words or less. This whole show is just a tsundere dumpster fire. Hot bitches orgasm over gambling their lives away in high school. I want a senile Japanese man as my grandpa now. Newt motherfucker. Who really needs the plot when it's a harem? Giraffe people doing ballroom dancing. It's pretty fucking awesome. Almost anime Black Mirror, instead Mugaruro is just a dick. I get paper cuts because of how edgy this show is. Easily one of the best animes I have ever seen. This is just a boring version of Free. Wow, an ecchi harem that actually has a decent plot. Umaru is the cutest piece of trash I have seen. A confusing mess with too many plot holes. Like Arslan Senki, but with more pretty boys. The pinnacle of shonen tropes done right. Also, probably the most incoherent, overdramatic mess I have ever seen. A cute girls doing cute things show with unexpected plot. What you see on episode 1 is the whole series. Dumb convoluted characters with no common sense or logic, the anime. Man, Foodgasms never looked so good. Hashtag best anime 2017. The story is so incoherent it makes it unwatchable. Sad. More realistic than season 1, and funnier. Didn't know it was related to Astro Boy. It's fine. Cute girls going around in a post-apocalyptic world. Also, dab. I wish there were more trucks in this. Absolute trash. This is literally why I love the Monogatari series. The only good part of this is the opening. Old man finally fulfills his dream of becoming a Terminator. A group of friends all into different levels of BDSM. A cross-dressing university student sexually assaults a closeted lesbian high schooler. An anime all about esports policies and backstabbing. Overall, boring. The title of this summarizes my reason for watching it. Generic as it comes, but at least it's funny. Convoluted version of Bakuto Test. That's actually decent. Guys, at this point, just read the manga. I never tried LSD, but this is close enough, right? Confusing to start, but kind of worth it by the end. A sports anime that barely has any sports. Instead, claiming Nina is best girl, but this show kind of implodes. Basically just a better Gintama. Living up to expectations is too much work, the anime. Gamers with no dating experience get into dating misunderstandings. Just because your story is complicated doesn't make it good. Goddamn, the key animation here is fucking amazing. Moral of the story, go outside and fucking bike! Kids playing in a fantasy wonderland. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, you know you can just watch hentai, right? Unexpectedly fantastic. Hint, make it to episode 3. The most realistic look at real-world relationships in anime. The wiki is funner to read than the anime. More ninja bullshit, but now Naruto's a daddy. Generic love triangle. Honestly, what are you expecting? It's shit. A crossover with Titanic and zombies. Yes, this is great. Another example, Ufotable can't do a good story except with Fate. After 4 years, the show is just good, not great. Wow. And I thought Juni Tension was edgy. No, this is. Bike Boys back at it again with the same shit. Why have a love triangle when you can have polygamy? Guys, I was so confused while watching this. A continuation of an absolutely beautiful story about family. Oddly charming and funny. Also, they're the porn parody. Yukiko-chan is a fucking scholar. BT dubs, this was absolutely hilarious. Surprisingly, there's no incest in this. Completely mind-blowing to watch. Honestly, it's pretty fantastic. First half was good, second half was shit. Overall, disappointing. James Bond as a superpowered moe lesbian in steampunk London. An entire anime centered around literally just panty shops. Imagine if Hitler was a little girl with magical powers. Either about monster lesbian fan service, or a commentary on equality. somehow has worse character than the original, but better fights. The story of a husband enabling his wife's alcoholism. Extremely slow paced, but it looks pretty. Could have been great, but instead it's just complete shit. Heartwarming show about tourism in small towns. Kinda like Shirobako. Best comedy that wasn't meant as a comedy 2017. Still just as stupid and pointless as the main series. FYI, make sure you watch the uncensored version. A show with a great premise but failed in execution. Old man buys sex slave to teach magic to. Daily life of a lesbian office worker with dragon mates. Wow, it's unoriginal and predictable, but I still enjoyed it. Does it look like a generic harem anime? Because it is. I feel like I gained muscle just by watching this. A complete train wreck, like the animation makes me nauseous. A prequel that is absolutely amazing to watch in theaters. So fucking boring. RIP to the time I wasted here. Every generic shonen trope imaginable done wrong. Also, this show makes me want to play Rakugo. Absolutely fascinating. I'm pretty sure they're all just secretly gay. Fate Zero, but with video game and anime characters. If you like anime with shitty animation, you'll like this. Anime Harry Potter with only girls. Also, Akko is annoying. This is everything wrong with isekai anime. This show is trash, and so am I. Easily the best looking CGI anime I've ever seen. Monster girls fall for their daddy of a teacher. Chut. I still can't get over that Astolfo is a dude.
Shut the fuck up!
Just embrace the stupidity and you'll enjoy this much more. Why is Pikachu talking? So that is all of them, and of course you don't want to go back up through that list to see which ones were the worst and the best. So here are my top and bottom 5 anime from 2017. And the way we are going to do this is I'm just going to go alternating between my top and bottom 5. So like 5th best, 5th worst, 4th best, 4th worst, you get the idea, and we'll just continue like that until the end. So here we go. 5th best, Princess Principal. So I don't know about all of you guys, but I grew up loving spy movies like 007, Mission Impossible, and the original Bourne trilogy. And I love steampunk games like Bioshock, Fallout, and Wolfenstein. So when you tell me that there's going to be an anime that's set in early 1900s steampunk London involving ninjas and spies going around London doing spy shit, I'm already on board. But then you top that off with an actually good story with well-developed characters and an awesome soundtrack, I just about lose my shit. I know I'm a little biased, but this show is bloody phenomenal. The only way this show can get any better is if it gets a season 2, because season 1 just about blew my expectations out of the park. Everything about this show just felt so unique and familiar at the same time. So let's move on to 5th worst, The Reflection. So out of all the shows that came out in 2017, probably the biggest disappointment is The Reflection. Because when you see the creative team behind this show, you think it's going to be good. With Hiroshi Nagahama as director, who was also the director for Mushishi, Stan Lee as executive producer and original creator. Heck, we even got the character designer from My Hero Academia to do all the character designs. But somehow this show is just a complete incoherent mess. With there being long awkward silences throughout the whole show, fight scenes that look like they should be interesting but somehow aren't, and then on top of all of that, the show as a whole is just extremely slow paced. Honestly, if there was just something for me to like about this show, maybe I wouldn't be so hard on it. But there isn't anything except maybe the art style, but even that somehow toes the line between being unique and just shit. So let's move on to 4th best, Welcome to the Ballroom. Now this is a show that I completely went in blind, because this show kind of went under the radar for a bunch of people, mostly because it is on Amazon Strike. And I'm not even going to touch that mess with like a 10-foot pole, but yes, I have an Amazon Strike account, and it's mostly because of this show. Welcome to the Ballroom is probably one of the top 2 or 3 sports anime I've ever seen in my life, just because of how great all the characters are and the emotions you feel in each scene with those characters. This show has been the highlight of my week for the past 24 weeks of this year while it was airing. Because while other shows on this list make me feel sad or mind blown, this show just made me feel happy. So yes, even though the art style kind of makes everyone look like giraffes, the story that is shown here is really one of the special ones that I am really hoping gets a second season sometime in the future. With that, let's move on to 4th worst, Dies Iron. Guys, I don't want to hate on this show because, you know, sometimes a bad show is good to watch when you just want to turn off your brain and enjoy it. This is not one of those shows. This show is literally a complete directional mess. Like, I spend more time trying to figure out what the fuck is going on during each episode instead of actually watching the show. Everything from the prologue to the ending makes no cohesive sense, with the whole story being extremely overdramatic and rushed, with it all revolving around something relating to Nazi than a harem, I think, since I legitimately can't describe to you the method of a plot this thing is. And honestly, it's not the source material's fault, because I have talked to a few of my friends who have played the visual novel, and they all said they really like it. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I guess go play the visual novel instead, and let's just add it to the pile of visual novel adaptations that were completely train wrecked during development. So from there, let's move on to third best, Made in Abyss. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. What makes Made in Abyss so good are the circumstances I watched it the first time. Because let's be honest here, this show kinda got hyped to all hell, and if you haven't seen it by now, then you probably think it's phenomenal right out the gate, and you already have high hopes for it. But really, when I first watched it while it was airing, I didn't know it was gonna go down the road it did. I was watching it because I thought it was going to be just a happy moe show, and that's it. And then something happened that changes that, but I really liked the show before this thing happened. So if you don't like moe shows and are going in with high expectations, then you probably won't like it as much as I did. But anyway, what makes Made in Abyss so great is the world building and character development that happens on screen, with it making a world that you actually want to learn more of. And then on top of that is a unique art style and a great music that is kind of just like icing on the cake for me on an already interesting show. So yeah, that is why Made in Abyss is one of the best shows of 2017. With that, let's move on to third worst, Osama Game the Animation. Now of course there are general issues I have with this show, like the stupid main character and all his friends that I kind of just want to punch in the face every time I see them, to the general small inconsistencies that are throughout the whole show. But my real issue with this show is that everything happens way too fast. If they would have just given you a couple episodes to really care about each of these characters, to make at least some sort of connection to them, maybe I would care more when they start slaughtering them all. But they don't do that. Instead, they just start killing them all right off the bat. Because of that, there is no stakes in this show, making everything just boring to watch, with you just waiting for the ending instead of actually enjoying the show. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you're watching a YouTube video and it has like an ad in front that you can't skip and you just have to wait for it to finish. Yeah, multiply that up to like 20 minutes and that's every episode of this show. The only saving grace being the OP and the ED are pretty good. That's it. So with that, let's move on to second best, My Hero Academia Season 2. Now, I don't think I need to add hype to this series because let's be honest here, if there is one series you saw during this past year, it is probably this one. But if somehow you still have not seen this show, the answer is yes, this show is great. Because it's not just another shonen. This show has so many things that make it incredibly enjoyable to watch, from the huge cast with each of them having their own moments to shine, to the seamless animation and uplifting music, to the world that just from the moment you see it feels real and alive, with moments throughout the show where you just see something happen in the background and you didn't really think about it until you saw it, and then you realize, yeah, that is totally how that would be done in that world. Moments like these are what make this show feel so real and alive, and will make this show interesting to watch every time. So from there, let's move on to second worst, which is Evil or Alive. So, Evil or Alive is a show that is probably one of the best comedies that isn't meant as a comedy, because you already see from the pictures on screen that I am showing you that the dialogue in this anime is probably some of the funniest shit I've ever read. The only problem being that this is not trying to be funny. So the whole show comes out extremely unrealistic and overdramatic, with it being hard for me to even get through a full episode without cracking up at least 4 times. But okay, the show is about your main character going to a rehabilitation facility for an illness he has. Now what is that illness? Well, it's internet addiction. And while yes, technically that is a real thing that has real camps for in China, the way they present it in this show makes the whole story come off hilariously unbelievable, with the whole show coming off as a parody of itself, instead of a serious show that is trying to be. So that is why it is number 2 on this list. From there, let's move on to dun dun dun, best anime of 2017 in my opinion, which is a tie between Scummed Witch and Kidamonogatari Part 3. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about Kidamonogatari here because I already have literally a whole fucking video talking in depth about my opinion of why I love the movie so much. So if you want to hear that, you can always hit the card in the top right hand corner, or there will be a link in the description down below if you want to hear my thoughts on it at all. So because of that, I'm only going to talk about Scummed Witch. Okay, good. Now, let's be clear about this. Scummed Witch is not for everyone. Like, if you watch anime to leave your problems behind and be happy, or you like regular romance series that come out every season with a usual happy ending, then this is not for you probably, and you shouldn't watch it because you're probably not going to like it. But for me, this show is absolutely phenomenal because it does something very unique in anime, which is tell a realistic story about how relationships work in real life, with it delving deep into people's emotions and thought processes when they do stuff like betrayal and cheating. And yes, if you're wondering, there are sex scenes in this show like every other episode, but it doesn't get in the way of the story. In fact, it actually is a part of the story that helps it move along. The best way to describe this show really is if HBO wanted to make an anime series that was very narrative and emotionally driven, it would be this. That's why I really love this show. And with that, let's move on to what really matters here. The worst anime of 2017, in my opinion, is Handshakers. Now, why do I think Handshakers is so bad? Well, it really is amazing to me how bad Handshakers is, because it truly represents everything that can go wrong with an anime. All the characters have no depth to them whatsoever. Their premise is convoluted and boring, which usually those two things don't go together, but somehow they do here. And the animation here is somehow like 10% the best thing ever, and 90% absolute fucking shit with poor CG integration, constant syncing issues with the music, and overall terrible direction. Like, I'm not sure what actually made me watch the embodiment of a facepalm, which is this show, but you really have to witness bad to appreciate the good. And Handshakers definitely is one of the worst. So if you want to get a better appreciation for the good storytelling that other shows have, you should watch this so you can really understand what it should not be. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video up to this point, and sorry about this video kind of coming out a month late since it was supposed to come out on New Year's Day. So as a sorry and also kind of like a New Year's resolution type thing, when this video hits 1,000 views, I will be giving away a year's membership to Crunchyroll. So if you are interested in winning this prize, make sure you share this video with all your friends, and make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and comment down below with your Twitter name or some way to contact you, so I have a way to contact you later if you win. I will announce the winner in my next video, and I will contact the winner directly when this video gets to 1,000 views. But anyways, guys, that is it for me. Don't forget to like and share this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for new videos every other Sunday. Finally, like always, this is Aniosophy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, and peace!